Why, hello, and all that good stuff. My name is Allie, I am the Chaotic Reader, and this is where I talk about book things. So here's the deal. I filmed this video 3 times already, and ran into issues with the footage every single time. I recently got a charger for my phone again. We're giving up on using that old other camera. This should hopefully go a lot better. But I am here to do the Slytherin Book Tag. Yes, I am a Slytherin, and no, I will not be taking questions at this time. And if you thought I was anything other than a Slytherin, well, I'm a little bit offended, actually. I was tagged by Joannotations to do this, and I will link her channel down below. Let's just get into the tag. Snake or reptile, in the book or on the cover? There was a book I immediately thought of with this question, and it is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, because it just has a very Slytherin aesthetic to it. It's got this nice simple black cover with a shiny black snake. It feels very Slytherin to me. I don't know if the content of this book is very Slytherin because I haven't actually read it yet. But I am excited to read this one eventually. I do say that about all the books on my shelves, but I do want to read all of them. There's just a lot of them. I know this is a dark academia book that takes place at Yale and has something to do with secret societies and magic. Water element, a book set in or around water. The only one I could really think of for this is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. That's my name, Alexandra, Allie. You probably didn't actually know that, but yes, my first name is actually Alexandra. This is another book I have not read, but I do know it's supposed to be sort of a Little Mermaid retelling, except involving a siren and a prince who hunts sirens. I believe it's also a hate to love, and I'm very excited to read it when I do get around to it. Leadership, a book featuring a strong leader. Now, I thought of Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This book isn't necessarily very Slytherin, and Tyler, the character I thought of, isn't really a Slytherin himself. He's probably more of a Gryffindor. But he is a strong leader, and he is top of his academy, meant to lead the best squad. But he ends up with a ragtag crew of misfits instead, and things do go kind of awry, but he is a good leader. And this was a rather good book. I do believe I gave it 3 stars because I didn't love it, but I do want to continue this series because it's fun and it was a good time, and I think the series has potential to get better. Ambition, a book that lived up to its hype. I went ahead and picked up Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson because this more than lived up to its hype. It lived beyond its hype. I don't have words for how much I love this book. It's definitely one of my favorite reads from last year. It was so good. Now, I know this book is one that people either love or hate. I land on the love side, and everything about this book is just magical. It was such a good time to read. I read it so quickly, I just devoured it. I loved the characters, I loved the magical libraries with the books that come alive. I really enjoyed this and gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and so I would say it lived up to the hype. Resourcefulness, a book where a character has a creative or unique way to get out of a situation or accomplish a task. Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. This whole series follows Yelena, and she definitely gets herself into a lot of situations and comes up with some interesting ways to get out of them. I can't tell you a whole lot about the series as a whole because anything beyond this one is just spoilers, but in this one we follow Yelena, and she has been arrested for committing murder of someone who was an abuser to her but was also very powerful. So she is in the dungeon. She is given the option to become a poison taster for the commander, which means she will learn all of the poisons and taste the commander's food. There is a hate to love romance in here, and just everything about this is so good. It is older YA, so it probably does suffer from some problems that older YA tends to, but I read it back in middle school, and I reread it again last year, and I still really love it and would say it's one of my all-time favorite fantasy series. A book with the house colors green and silver. Now, I realized I don't really have very many books with green covers, and I have no books with green and silver on the cover. So instead, I grabbed The Toll by Neil Shusterman because it feels kind of Slytherin-y. These greens are very nice, and so this is what I picked up for that. I don't know if I would call this book Slytherin or not. I don't really know what house I would place this book in. I don't know. But anyway, this is the third in the Scythe trilogy. I have read the first two. I have not read this one. If you've been on my channel for very long, you probably know that I'm very bad at finishing series. And this is another one where I got this book right away when it came out, and I still haven't read it. What can you do? And the last is The Bad Guy, a book where you feel for the bad guy. Honestly, you could pull basically any book I've read off these shelves and I would probably tell you I like the bad guy or the villain. I just have a soft spot for villains. I mean, I'm a Slytherin, what did you expect? The final prompt is The Bad Guy, a book where you feel for the bad guy. Now honestly, you could pick probably any book off of these shelves and I would tell you that I feel for the bad guy or the villain or that they're even my favorite character. I'm a Slytherin. What did you expect? There was one book in particular I thought of, and that is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. I'm sorry if you can hear my 7-month-old in the other room. He is trying to teach himself how to crawl, and he's not very happy about the process, but he's just in his crib and he's a little fussy. Anyway, in this book, Malachias or Malachias or something, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce things, he is the bad guy of this series, and honestly I would say that this is, instead of enemies to lovers, they just kind of are enemies and lovers. I don't even know what's going on sometimes in this book, but I really enjoyed it. It definitely does have some flaws. It was a debut novel. I can admit that not everything about it makes as much sense as it probably should, but it's a 5 out of 5 star read for me. And I definitely feel for the bad guy in here. This is definitely another book that people tend to either love or just not really care for, but again, I fall on the love side, and this is definitely one of my all-time favorite series. Anyway, that is it for the Slytherin Book Tag. It was just a real quick video for you guys. I know I was gone for a while. I had issues with technology and life, and I'm back. I am hoping in June to start posting consistently twice a week. That is really the goal I would like to get to at some point here, but things just seem to keep getting in the way, and I am sorry for that. But remember that in June, I am hosting the Explorathon from June 18th to the 22nd, and also I am going to be helping out for Septima's Self-Care Readathon. I will be on her live show in the first weekend of June on the Saturday, and you're not going to want to miss it because I'm making a homemade face mask out of oatmeal, and that's going to be real interesting, so I'll be doing that during the live stream. I'll link everything down below, but anyway, make sure to like, subscribe, comment what house you are and what book you think best fits that house. I will see you guys next time.